Hello there. You're now with me, Shal Shameto, for TVS English News at 5. Let's get to the headlines for today. One more body has been recovered in a landslide tragedy at Father's Organic Farm camping site today. This brings the death toll to 26, with 7 more victims still missing. Meanwhile, the body of the latest victim found had been taken to the Sungai Buloh Hospital for post-mortem.
The Fire and Rescue Department, Bomba, in a Facebook post quoting a Bomba Operation Management Center, said the body of an adult male was found at around 11:16 a.m. in Sector B, Farmview Camp. The vehicle carrying the body was seen to exit the search zone at around 11:57 a.m. This latest development brings the number of victims still missing to 7, with 61 survivors out of a total 94 victims involved in the 2:42 a.m. Friday incident. Bomba today announced that the search and rescue operation will dig deeper to find the remaining victims after the 25th body was found last night at a depth of 17 meters, deeper than expected.
Moving on. 2 homes were destroyed by fire in separate incidents at Kota Sentosa and Kampong Sebenis. Fortunately, a Fire and Rescue Department or Bomba spokesperson said there were no casualties from both incidents.
In the first incident, a Bomba Operation Center was alerted at 10:42 p.m. on December 20th at Lorong Liu Shan Bang 3C at Kota Sentosa. The house was already burned to the ground by the time firefighters from Batu Lintang and Tabuan Jaya stations arrived at the scene. They completed the fire extinguishing operation at 11:41 p.m. Meanwhile, in another incident, the Siburan Bomba received an emergency call at 5:35 a.m. early this morning. The fire engulfed a house in Kampong Sebenis and burned it to the ground by the time firefighters got to the scene as well. The Siburan firefighters completed the extinguishing operation at 7:20 a.m. The cause of the 2 fires and the total damages are unknown and are still being investigated.
Sarawakians are urged to take heed to the Sultan of Perak's call to reject any extreme racial and religious actions or speeches. Political analyst Dr. Peter MINOS echoes the Sultan's call, as such actions could incite ill-feeling and spread hatred and conflict in society. He said Sarawak is well aware of such prevalent issues, which are especially rampant in West Malaysia.
He also urged Sarawakians to help the state government to keep Sarawak perpetually free of religious and racial extremism. He continued by saying politics, if mixed with race and religion, will explode exponentially, as evident in Peninsular Malaysia, where such tactics are actively used. Sarawak will not tolerate this kind of politics. It was reported on Tuesday that Sultan Nazrin Muizuddin Shah urged the police to take immediate action against parties that are exploiting differences in ethnicity and provoking hostilities.
An 8-year-old participant stood out as one of the winners of the 2022 Sarawak Photography and Videography competition organised by the Sarawak Tourism Board, STB. According to STB Chairman Dennis Ngau, the competition, launched in November 2022, received an encouraging number of 221 young participants who shared their passion and creative view of Sarawak through photography and videography.
I'm happy to share that the competition launched in November 2022 received an encouraging number of entries, with a total number of 221 participants with 1,268 photos and 61 videos submitted. Out of these, 16% of the entries are non-Sarawakians. More impressive still is that an 8-year-old stand out as one of the winning entries of this year's competition.
He said this in his speech at the Sarawak Tourism Board STB Photography and Videography Competition Prize Giving Ceremony at Plaza Merdeka on Wednesday. The photography competition was divided into 4 categories for students under 18 years old, enthusiasts, and the open professional group. The categories are Nature's Wonder, Going Green, Sarawak at Night, and My Hometown or My City, while the video categories were split into 3, a documentary on responsible tourism for students, an open theme for professional videographers, and a TikTok category. Also present was STB Chief Executive Officer Shazid Datuk Saleh Asko.
Welcome back. Several major demands by Sarawak made under the Malaysian Agreement 1963 or MA63 were approved during the recent cabinet meeting at the Dewan Rakyat. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim said these demands will be announced sometime next month.
Soal MA 63 seperti kita tahu yang diputuskan oleh Datuk Seri Fadilah Perdana Menteri, kita bagi tempoh 1 bulan dan insya-Allah awal Januari beberapa isu besar dapat kita luluskan. Umpamanya hari ini untuk gas kita pindahkan kuasa kawal selia bekalan gas yang dulunya di peringkat Petronas Persekutuan itu dipindahkan kepada Kerajaan Negeri Sabah.
The date of implementation will be subject to the consent of Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah. Additionally, Anwar added several issues related to legislation and amendments of laws will have to be postponed until the next session of parliamentary seating.
The 2023 New Year's Eve celebration at Merdeka Square this December 31st is cancelled. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said this is due to the flood situation that has befallen multiple states.
Oleh kerana keadaan banjir dan kesusahan rakyat, kita putuskan supaya sambutan besar-besaran ambang Tahun Baru 31 Disember di Dataran Merdeka ini dibatalkan.
He said this after chairing a cabinet meeting today. Anwar said the meeting today focused on the flood situations in Kelantan and Terengganu. He himself will be down on the ground in Kelantan this evening. According to him, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has visited both states, monitoring the situation and taking a few quick actions before reporting to the cabinet this morning.
The East Coast Rail Link ECRL project will proceed at a lower cost of 11.01 billion ringgit compared to the original cost of 85.97 billion ringgit approved in 2016. This was announced by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim.
He said the total cost of the ECRL is reduced, even though there are applications for additional costs following the new realignment, and the project is still subjected to the old agreement. In a press conference after chairing the cabinet meeting today, Anwar stressed that the government decided to proceed with the project that was approved previously. It did not make much changes as this would delay its implementation process and cause difficulties in the works and existing negotiations. The ECRL project, spanning 665 kilometers and comprising 59 tunnels, includes construction works in 4 states, namely Kelantan, Terengganu, Pahang, and Selangor, and is designed to be free from floods.
And now on to our global affairs. What should have been a week-long celebration as Argentina celebrated its FIFA World Cup win after over 3 decades. The celebrations in Buenos Aires turned somber on Tuesday night when Argentinian football fans clashed with police after things got out of hand. Police tried to remove 2 fans who managed to climb on top of the obelisk monument in Republic Square, which caused the eruption of the riot. Some fans were throwing objects towards police, while others vandalized public and private properties and even robbing banks of their belongings.
And just earlier today, Argentina's World Cup heroes' 8-hour parade was cut short due to security reasons. A video footage showed 2 people jumping onto open-top bus carrying the football team when the bus was passing by a bridge. One person managed to land safely while the other bounced off the back of the bus and fell to the ground. The health condition of the person in question is still unknown as he fell into a crowd of millions of fans who were chasing the bus. Fearing for the safety of players, Lionel Messi and his teammates were whisked into helicopters to complete the celebrations as millions of ecstatic fans continue to flood the streets.
A 6.4 magnitude earthquake Tuesday left at least 2 people dead and nearly a dozen others injured in the U.S. state of California. The quake happened near Ferndale, about 338 kilometers northwest of San Francisco, damaging buildings and roads and cutting off power to more than 70,000 homes.
According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the quake struck at 2:34 a.m. in the Pacific Ocean and was followed by about 80 aftershocks, the biggest of which registered at a magnitude of 4.6. The Humboldt County Sheriff's Office said at least 11 people were reported injured and 2 others died from medical emergencies that occurred during or just after the quake. The department said its dispatchers fielded 70 emergency calls after the quake, including on a report of a person left trapped who needed rescuing. Details on the quake-related casualties was sketchy, but one surviving victim was a child with a head injury and the other an older person with a broken hip. Some 79,000 homes and businesses were without power in Ferndale and surrounding Humboldt County shortly after the quake. California's earthquake early warning system appeared to have worked, sending electronic alerts to mobile devices of some 3 million Northern California residents 10 seconds before the first rumbles were felt.
That's a quarter update on the news at 5. I'm Shel Chameto. Have a good evening.